Thompson's going to bowl to David Steele for the first time this morning. 3 slips and a gully. Be 4 runs. Leg by signal by umpire Spencer. Good shot for 4 runs. Fine below that. Slightly over-pitched, and he was rocking onto the back foot there. Playing a lot off the back foot this morning against this new ball.
Ian Chappell just running back from having a word with Jeff Thompson. No doubt he's going to switch bowlers around, but I think his 2 opening bowlers have given him a bit of a nightmare out there this morning. Sure, he won't be best pleased. He needed the breakthrough. The ball's been swinging around. This overcast atmosphere may not last that long, and so far in the first half hour this new ball has been totally wasted. Another one miles away from the line. Jeff Thompson not very pleased with it himself. But Ian Chappell persists with Jeff Thompson as a new ball bowler, even though he knows, or you would think he'd know from previous experience, that he really can't get it on line at all. When it starts to really swing around, he gets that one going down the leg side, then he tries to aim further offside and it swings the other way.
He's 3 runs there. In fact, the way that outfield is, it might even be possible for them to run 4. That 4 takes the England second innings total past the 200 mark, and it takes David Steele on to 64.
So LILLEE to Edrich. And he's bowled him. And there's a breakthrough that Australia have waited such a long time for. So poor John Edrich, who's played so supremely well all the way through there. Bowled and comprehensively beaten there by Dennis LILLEE with his score on 96. Well, that's a great performance by John Edrich. Getting applause from the fairly meagre crowd here today, but getting a very good hand from the Australians. They've always appreciated a fighter. And applause, relief, of course, from the Australians to see the back of John Edrich, who once again has done a really sterling job here for England. 6 hours he's been out there, 1-5 and 6 fours in an innings which has brought England right back into this game. LILLEE getting this one right on target, making it come in just a shade off the pitch to Edrich, finding the tiniest of gaps there between bat and pad, and over goes the middle stump. 3 slips back and a gully, 2 short legs for Graham Roop, Alan Turner at forward short, where he took the catch to dismiss Roop in the first innings. Well, it's safely away, jabbed down on it, kept it along the ground. No third man, it's a chase back there for Dougie Walters. And Roop away with 3 runs. And there's a very relieved England cricketer. England 341 behind on the first innings. Gradually whittling this difference away. 209 for 2 now. Those runs have taken a little bit of getting. It's exactly 100 overs. And LILLEE into the resolute Steele. And that's a flick, and he's out, caught behind, and LILLEE takes his 2nd wicket. Marsh making no mistake at all there. Nice gentle catch going to him, just away to the right. And David Steele, the end of another really fine innings, won't be terribly pleased getting out to that particular ball or playing that shot at it. Just a slight lapse of concentration there. And he goes for 66. And England losing their second wicket of the morning. David Steele, as so often happens after a long partnership, following John Edrich back in the pavilion. But a really wonderful effort there from the Northamptonshire cricketer, who's made his mark on the Test match scene during the course of this series. And those Australians must be absolutely delighted to see the back of him. This is the way he went. Wideish ball there from LILLEE, initially going forward, changing his mind, going back. And a very un-Steele-like shot to end his innings. 215 minutes. He was out in the middle, hit 6 fours, and the man to take his place is Bob Woolmer of Kent. Harold Bird under the impression there that Graham Roop wasn't quite ready, that Bob Woolmer wasn't quite ready. So LILLEE, a long run up in vain there. Trying again.
Four runs. Nothing wrong with that for a shot. It's a good shot. Craig Waters, the fieldsman. And it will just beat him into the fence. A little bit cramped for room there. So it's coming back at him all the time. Pretty cramped looking stroke in the end, played from round about leg stump. It's along the ground, bouncing in front of Waters and between Waters and Greg Chappell for 4 runs.
So it's been hard work for the English batsman. Woolmer thinking of one there, sent back by Roop. Done by Woolmer, very fine for 4.
Greg Chappell going some half-dozen yards deeper now. He's there really for the mistimed on-drive. It's good, firm, straight drive by Graham Roop. That'll go through right up to the pavilion rails for 4. So both batsmen finding the boundary here in this session after lunch. Just as LILLEE slowed down his pace this morning and got some movement with the new ball, Ashley Mallett here is bowling considerably slower than he did yesterday. Nicely flighted, but firmly driven again this time by Root. No effort for anybody to move. As the ball comes straight through, right in front of the ladies' pavilion this time, for 4 more. So that good second boundary since lunch from Root, bringing up the 250. Thompson to Woolmer. Shout for a catch behind this time. It seemed to flick the pad and giving it a little touch to put everybody's mind at rest there. Seemed more likely, in fact, from that playback that it flicked the pad and not the bat. That's a good shot. No third man, that's hurrying away again for 4. Nobody down there on the third man boundary. Woolmer nicely over the top of that. There seems to be a slight change of tactics here now by Ian Chappell. In such a battle to break up this partnership, he's got his bowler operating with a fairly defensive field. With a few times in this series, nobody close catching around on the leg side, just an orthodox 2 slips, a gully, a cover, even an extra cover in now. Mid-wicket push back, mid-on, trying to keep the runs down. Some distinctly unfortunate calling going on there between those two. Never quite sure whether Rod Marsh was going to gather that ball. In the end, he had to run some 30-40 yards to retrieve it. Of course, the Australians acting as hosts to the West Indies fairly shortly after they get back. It's amazing what a month's break can do. Oh, it's a glorious shot. Half volley. As good a shot as we've seen here today. Woolmer throwing the bat at it there, striking it right in the middle, and giving cover and extra cover no chance at all. Nice full flowing shot. Greg Chappell again to Graham Roop. Got it this time all right, chopped it away down to third man, tried it a couple of times in the last over, didn't make contact, but there's at least 4 runs here for Graham Roop. Have to run them all, but doing it easily. Got it through this time, played it fine and late again, and that'll go all the way through for 4. So the boundary taking Graham Roop on to 53. It's 53 coming in at just a shade over 3 hours. 8 fours in it. On 50 in his first Test match against Australia. So it's been a good match for the 2 home-based players here. John Edrich 96 and Graham Roop now on 53. Roop facing Chappell. That's a short one, pulled away this time by variation of mid-wicket. Thompson after it. And the 3 runs there to Graham Roop, bringing up the 300.
Put him down. Greg Chappell. It flew. Greg Chappell got one hand to it. And And that really is the one the Australians wanted to pick up. Off a thick edge, cramped for room there a little bit. And Greg Chappell, an involuntary movement, the ball was travelling very fast. And it bounced away over his head and a little bit to his right. And there's 4 runs. So in the 49th over, the unbroken spell of maidens, ranging from the 37th over Mallet has bowled, that has now been broken. Partnership is now worth 100, and Roop has gone on to 70. It's 4. Through the gap. There's 2 slips in the gully there, but that split the second slip and Mallet at gully. Not a bad bounce of that. He picked it up a little bit late, I think. Looked as though he was standing up for the shot, and then suddenly realised it was coming around about shoulder high. The light is all right here, but not as good as it has been on some other occasions during the game. Four runs. Similar sort of stroke from the one he was dropped from, and Greg Chappell got one hand to a chance at second slip. Once again, he's a little bit cramped for room. Didn't quite have time to roll his wrists over it. Slashed it away over the top of slips. Umpire, I think it's out of shape. Dennis, why don't you keep going with it? I think that's probably knocked it back into shape. .330 for 3.
Ross Edwards still very alert. Marsh moving particularly well there. A long way to come up. Standing back. Now to LILLEE, and Marsh quickly up to the stumps, taking the good throw. Has bowled him. Little variation of pace that held that back a bit. Graham Roop clean bowled by Dennis LILLEE with his score on 77. And again, the Australians a long time to wait for that wicket. But once again, it was LILLEE doing the trick for them. His third wicket in this innings, 3 out of 4. Bowling Graham Roop for 77 with a score now on 331 for 4. Great performance here by Graham Roop, making up for his failure there. Naught in the first innings, and the crowd rising to Roop, and the Australians too, giving him a great hand.
Greg.
Slight change of pace here, causing Roop's downfall. Much slower ball. Well, that innings of Graham Roop lasting for 4 hours, doing a great job, taking the score on from 209 to 331 in a fine century partnership there with Bob Woolmer. Tony Greig, England's captain, in at number 6, must be highly delighted too with the performances of his early batsmen in this second innings. So that's the meagre difference now between the two sides, and England with 6 wickets in hand. As Tony Greig takes guard here. It's quite a hazy light here at the Oval at the moment, not particularly good. This ground, particularly at this time of the year, never a very easy one for seeing when you first go in. Two umpires asking the batsmen about the light, no question what they want to do, and they're going in. Well, the light isn't very good. I'm fairly surprised that they've decided to come in. I didn't think it was really all that bad.
333 for 4 then. A solid innings from Bob Woolmer, 37. Tony Greig remaining 1 not out when the umpires asked him if he'd like to go off when the light worsened. Good innings from John Edrich, David Steele and Graham Roop played pretty well, although he and Woolmer both were very slow. Well, there was no further play during the day. The rules stated that if play had been in progress at 6:30, there would have been another hour, but the light just kept on getting worse, and there was no chance of umpire Spencer and umpire Bird coming back. But what of the day? I was a little disappointed by it. In fact, I thought England could have made more effort to push the scoring along. In fact, I thought it was in their own interest to do so. In the end, they may well get away with it, but I did understand from the way they were talking that they were going to go for a win, and I thought if they'd pushed the scoring along and set Australia something like 150 to get, we could have had a very, very interesting final day. I don't think that'll happen now. I think it's a pity. The Australians seem to be in the same mould today. They look jaded, they move badly in the field, and that opening bowling spell with the new ball this morning really was very bad. So in all, I think a disappointing day. Let's hope that the final day, the 6th, will turn out to be much better.